You know, like I said, in Lagos, they are making trillions of dollars every naira from Lagos port. Why can't a country that believe in the people build its own port? We have riverine areas where port can be built, where revenue can be generated, where people can be employed. But because the people that are controlling Nigeria does not want us to survive, but all what they want is to be able to control us. Now I hear all this stupid news. Everybody was saying that they went to Saudi Arabia, they got money. I don't have issue with Saudi Arabia. But what I have issue with is sponsoring of terrorism in Nigeria, and at the same time sponsoring of projects in Nigeria, using Islamic Caliphate money to be able to continue to enslave us based on the foundation that was wrong in our system. And if you sit down there and you call yourself educated, and you call yourself that you are a lawyer, you are a doctor, you are a pharmacist, anything you call yourself, and yet you do not understand the framework that defines us as a country is corrupt. The framework that defines us as a nation has been destroyed. We have no nation. Then any people or set of people that want to come to govern our country must have, one, the most important that they have to restructure our country. Not restructuring by breaking us apart. No, it is the restructuring by making the people to make their own law. That people from my own community will decide how the community will be governed. And people from my own local government will decide that based on what the community says, this is how the framework, the entire local government will be governed. And the framework that is going to transfer to the entire state, and the entire state will be governed. Then the same thing is going to go to the federal. And every law that is made within the older places will be stronger than the law that is made in the federal. Why are we practicing federation? If not, then we are not a federation. The Yoruba should govern themselves. We have the population enough to be a country by ourselves. Nigeria is almost 200 million people. The entire West African country added together is not up to the population of Nigeria. So why are we in this mess? Why can't we think? Why can't our leaders and everybody will be shouting Buhari, they will be shouting to Atiku Abubakar? I was listening to the debate, the questioning from the lady in NTA about the Obi and Atiku. And Atiku was told that some state is already making it a law in their state that they will not be allowed to have herdsmen to rear cattle. You need to see the anger in Atiku's face when he say, "Oh, I hope the constitution will allow that." That is stupid. Which means that by the time it gets there, it will make it compulsory that the state cannot make that law because it's part of the mission. Atiku is part of the strategy, even the same way that right now, Buhari is part of it. So, fellow Nigerian, it's either you understand that for us to exist together as Nigerian, either you are Hausa man, you are Igbo man, you are Yoruba man, you are Shekiri, you are Thief, you are Egba, you are Yoruba. We all need to make our laws. We all need to define how we want to exist together. In our own community, if you do something wrong this way, this is how you will be judged. And if you go to Egba, the way Egba mentioned is that is the way you will be judged. Therefore, there will be rule of law everywhere, anywhere you go to in Nigeria. And nobody will be above the law of any place. And if you commit a law in another state, and you are from another state, and wherever they arrest you, they take you to wherever you commit your crime and be judged according to the law of that place. And you cannot come from the northern Nigeria, if northern Nigeria say, okay, 12 or 14 states, they want to be governed by Sharia. Yes, Sharia will govern them. But in Yoruba land, if you want to be governed by Ifa, Ifa will be how will be governed. And if you come from the north and you make a crime in Yoruba land, in my own community, and they say it is Ifa that is going to be used, then you have no power to overrun that. That is how we can make Nigeria to work. But if we are still playing that we have a constitution, forget it, we don't even have a constitution in Nigeria. I posted a lot of things that people share with me on Facebook. Some of my friends say, "Oh, did you see the judge Yapo was has whatever in law?" I don't care. There is no constitution, so anybody can do anything. The so-called substantial assembly, they are existing. They are not functioning. The country is stand still. No job, no power, no infrastructure, no education, and you people are just chanting, "Baba, say Baba, say boy." Say what? The women are being raped. People are doing rituals everywhere. There's no control. There's no rule of law. There's no security. And all of you are shouting. You are happy because somebody is giving you $1,000, or $10,000. Does that buy the future of your children? Does that put job? Does that employ people that are graduating every day, graduating in Nigeria from institution every year without a job? Does that make them to have internet in their houses? Does that give them access to information? Can they access school from online? Can they have the same competitiveness with the other part of the world? And yet, all of you are shouting. You are shouting. Buhari shouting. As if you don't know what is wrong with with the situation of Nigeria. Nigeria has, I define Nigeria as the richest country in the world. The manpower, the resources, the ability, the strength, the intelligence of our people. I've met people in this country that other color that told me that they knew that the Yoruba people, the Hausa people, the people of Nigeria, they are genius. What are we doing with that? Because we allowed some people to sit down in London to craft something in 1914, or proud to that. And yet, we are still faking our lives to take together as a people. When are we going to use our educator to better the life of our own people? We're educated, many of us have PhD, have masters. For what? Average Chinese have no first degree. Average Chinese does not have a single degree. All what they know is technical knowledge. But they are there in that country, they are working, they are paying their salary in China. Why can't Nigerians and our government make sure that they have bank accounts in Nigeria and be paying their salary there, rather than paying their salary to Chinese, or to China rather? At the same time, we have people that are governing us. Common sense they don't have. I cannot imagine that I find gold on my land and I have to run to a Fulani man to come and dictate how I will mine gold in my own land, how I will bring investor in, how I will produce that gold, how I will make sure that it benefits the people that have been suffering in that particular land for thousands of years. We have not been existing just for 100 years. Yoruba people have been existing for thousands of years. By archaeologists' research, we have been existing before Jesus Christ. So if you don't know where you are coming from, you are not just people. Go and research and know who you are. We took civilization to London before they came back to take us into slavery. That is what we did from the Western Nigeria, from West Africa. If you don't know, we are not slaves. And those people that come that make us to be slaves in the modern history of Nigeria, we need to stand up and say, no, we cannot stand this. And I call on every community in Nigeria to rise, that this is what they want in their land and that is what must be. And if the federal government say no, then we have to stand up against the federal government. Because the federal government does not exist. It is just a cabal of few people that are dictating what Nigeria is. There was no constitution in Nigeria. If you are a lawyer, that you call yourself a lawyer, I have them in my family. Then stand up to defend your people. Stand up to rise to defend the people. We need you in our state. And each community that does not have people to represent them should go and look for people that can volunteer to defend the country, to defend the people. It is time to stand up, to face the fact about Nigeria. Where are we going to? How do you want to get there? How do you want to insist together? We have education and it's not being applied. We have wisdom and it's wasted. Even the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And the day you know one thing that you're supposed to do, and you did not do it, you are the most foolish man. The day you know that this is your right, Yoruba, people from Yoruba people say something. Ọjọ́ tó bá ti mọ ọjọ́ bàbá wọn bá mọ kútùpá bàbá òun ló máa tó bá tẹ̀ kú dà lábẹ́rẹ́ kútùpá bàbá òun. Ọjọ́ tọmọ ní bá tọwọ́ tó bá tọ ikú dà lábẹ́rẹ́ kútùpá bàbá òun. Now you know the death, the reason why our father died. Yoruba people were in war for 100 years. If you don't know, we were in war with the British, with ourselves. While British sit down at the corner, they are taking our people for slavery. Over 1 million Yoruba people was taken to slavery to North America by the Europeans. And do you know that? And now you sit down there and they carve evil against you and they are governing you for over 50-something years and without you knowing what you're supposed to do. And Hausa man came today and they taking you, let me say, Fulani people came and said, oh, yeah, they are born to rule. Born to rule where? Nigeria is not existing. Nigeria is not, it's just existing in paper. It is when you that is hearing my voice. It is when you know and you stand to defend your people in your local community and stand to defend what defines us as a people than to defend Nigeria that is fake Nigeria. And the day we agree together to live together as a people, that is the day we have a full future for Nigeria. But if that has never happened, we are going nowhere. We will never have road, we will never have water, we will never have electricity, we will never have food on the table. Agriculture that is being published in the north, then we control everything. In those days, we don't need rice to survive in the Western Nigeria. We have our own food, we have our own beans. I remember the kind of beans that we planted. But today, they are all gone. You depend on the north to feed you. If tomatoes have not come from the northern Nigeria, you cannot even buy tomato. You cannot even apply tomato in your own house. And yet, we are claiming that we are people that we have rights. We are people that are the most intelligent. We are people that we are most educated. Many of the educated Nigerians or educated Yoruba people are foolish. I'm sorry. But because when you do not use education right, automatically you are foolish. Education does not give you wisdom. It only gives you ability to think right. Fellow Nigerian, if you are Yoruba man, if you are Hausa man, if you are Igbo man, I don't care where you come from. It is the day you know that we have to come together as people to define what we define as our own constitution. That's the day we know we can exist together. And everything that we want to build in Nigeria, it is possible within a year if Nigeria can be built. But because we have failed to underline the reason for our existence, to underline how we want to live together and destroy everything that the British and the Northern Caliphate built, until then, we have a country. Without it, forget it, there's no Nigeria. And the winner will never come. Our father made mistakes. He tried to correct it. Awolowo tried, but he couldn't correct it. And Ahoro tried, he couldn't correct it. Ahmadu was not even able to remember that something was made wrong. Even he said it by himself. It was a mistake. So some people now partnering with British and the West, some other people around the world, to fake our existence as people. I join you. Let's come together as people to have a one country. Africa depends on us, and the world is looking at us to change. I want to believe British have regretted it, but they will never come out and say what they regretted. The entire thing that defines Nigeria, every company that's in Nigeria is supposed to be reevaluated. If you are Shell, if you are Chevron, if you are Mobil, I don't care the company you have. We have to reevaluate every company, whatever makes you to stand in Nigeria for the past 50 years without being able to build in a single road for our people. Automatically, you are not have the right to live to operate in Nigeria. If you cannot build a single road, environmental inclusiveness is part of any business entity. But if you cannot provide that to our people, you come as you operate in Nigeria, you cannot provide single water to the people, to the community. You cannot provide single power to the community. You cannot provide single road to the community. How are you operating? If you are operating in America, won't you provide that? Community inclusiveness. BP, you know how much you pay in North America for spilling oil. How much have you paid to Nigeria? for destroying the land in Niger Delta? Shell, how much have you paid? Mobil, how much have you paid? All of these companies are supposed to come out and tell us. And it's until we have a leader that can challenge the status quo of every company that operates in our shore and in our land. Until then, we cease to be a nation. Until we challenge the Chinese that are operating in our land, until then, we cease to be a nation. Until we challenge the Europeans that are operating in our land, until then, we cease to be a nation. So to have a greater Nigeria, to have a better continent that we desire, that we aim to have, we need to reevaluate the existence of our people and the existence of our nation. And under this existence evaluation, then we can decide how we want to rule ourselves, how long we want to, how far we want to go, and how fast we want to run. For Chinese to build what they have today, they segregate themselves from America. They segregate themselves. They separated themselves from Soviet Union and the Western world. They look into their own people. They call it People's Republic of China because they use their own people to build what they have. We are in that phase now as a country. We need to take ourselves out of the shadow of every stupid international union, entity, or bilateral union that we have signed that is putting us into slavery. They'll be telling us they will own these millions, these billions. For what? And what do we have to show for it? It's until we be able to separate ourselves. Economically, we have failed. Politically, we have failed. That was the state China was in 1955. We are in that state now that we need to come as a people. If you are from wherever you come from in Nigeria, we need to come together as a people. Wherever you are listening, you are hearing my voice. We need to come together as a people. And it's going to start from each community. From Oka, you are from Akoko, where from anywhere you come from in Nigeria, you sit down and you are like, okay, how do we want to be governed by ourselves? What law do we want to define for ourselves? If somebody steals, how do you want to govern or to provide justice if somebody steals? If you commit a bigger crime in my community, they will give you what is called kola nut. No constitution can go against that. That is the law, the culture, and the law of my people. And that is still operating today. So an Hausa man will now come, or Igbo man will now come to my land, or a Igbira man will now come to land and do whatever he likes. No, it's not possible. That is how we can govern and change the status quo of Nigeria. Until we make law, city by city, community by community, that there's nowhere anybody can run to. If they give you constitutional money from the federal and you're supposed to implement it in my community and you fail and the community arrests you, they will prosecute you. So it's going to be so difficult for anybody to steal or to go involved in corruption because there's nowhere for them to return to. And that there's no job. Every state in Nigeria must have the power to generate their own electricity. Every community, every local government has the power to generate their own electricity. We will break. I was hearing some things are under federal government. It's no-go area. What is the meaning of that nonsense? That somewhere is no-go area, like power, like land, like resources. That is stupid. We have to change that. If we want to continue together as a country, my fellow Nigerians, I'm a Yoruba man. I love everybody that I've met in my path. That you are Hausa, you are Igbo, you are Hausa. We are all my friends. But we need to face the truth. For Shekri to be able to live with Yoruba. For Takba to be able to live in Bida with their people, the Hausa people. All of them must have to sit down together and agree how they want to govern. If you are from Kano, for you to be able to exist together as other people, we have to decide it. And the fact that, okay, they created 70 something local government, 40 something local government in the north, why the same Lagos that was created with them still have 20 local government? Do you know that? I was looking at, okay, NCC, Nigeria Communication Commission. For you to operate as tier 1, which is only Lagos, tier 1, you need to have $3 million that you have to be paying every year for you to operate as telecommunication, whatever, ISP or Unify provider in Lagos. But in our own population, the Northerners are claiming that Kano is more than Lagos, right? But do you know that same thing, when it goes to Kano, you just have to pay 1.5 million to operate in Kano. The question is why? Okay, if the Kano is indeed more populous than the north, than Lagos, why can't they be the same 3 million? Because they know the economic viability, there's no economic viability in Kano compared to Lagos. So how could somewhere that is dry be more populous? It is never exists in anywhere in the world, even in America, unless there is economic viability. I will give you an instance. California. California is a desert, but it has Pacific Ocean. So the economic viability of California is the 10th largest economy in the world if they take it out of the United States by itself, including technology. It's driven by technology. So what are we driven by? We are driven by some level of lack of understanding of people in power that have been carved to put Nigeria on hold for the last 56 years. Let me say for the last 104 years. My people, my name is Kennedy Alade, and my message to you is, Nigeria is either we sit down to think, to talk, and to change it, or we go in our separate ways. As a Yoruba man, I have tell people, even in America, that the main reason why I live is to change Nigeria and to turn Africa to a better continent. Is that you change it together with me, or you allow moron people that have been set their path to destroy our land and to take all that belongs to us. I often tell people that the main existence of us as a people is when we have ability to choose, to decide how we want to be governed. If the Northerner say they have taken themselves away from it, because from the day they implement Sharia law in the north, they have automatically separated themselves from the still called Nigeria. From the day there's first school in Nigeria in the 60s, automatically Nigeria have stopped to exist. So every framework that is defining us as a fake constitution, go back to 1979. Obasanjo came and created one stupid constitution to govern, to make what happened in 1983, between 1970 and 1983. It was toppled by this same Buhari until 1999. The military again sit down, they cook whatever they want to cook together to define what you have as a constitution. We don't have constitution. Nigeria have no constitution, because constitution in a democratic system is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. So if you do not know, if you are a lawyer, if you are whatever you call yourself in the legal world, in terms of democracy, Nigeria have no constitution that is governing us. That's why the president can do whatever he likes. That's why the governor can do whatever they like to do. That's why the House of Assembly doesn't have any, they don't have reason for their existence as a House of Assembly. Well, why do we have them? My proposal to you is this: if we are going to continue, after we have heard that the people define what they want, by themselves from each community. They pass it to the local government. Local government certify it that okay, this is what they want in local government. Then the local government will take it to this House of Assembly, to the House in the state. And the state, by vote of the people, then they will approve that okay, based on this local government, this is how they want to operate. Then the state will set its own according to what it is. It might be a little lower than the local government or higher than the local government, but it can never be lower than the federal government. Then whatever it's agreed on from the state government, they will take it to the federal. So the federal we just have to approve, because the federal will now use whatever they have now to set a standard that can never be below. What the community have already done. And whatever judgment that is given in the local government, federal cannot change it. Until this time, Nigeria will not exist. And if anything want to happen in Nigeria, want to change anything, we will set a date, a particular date that the people will vote for key offices. And everything that we will be doing in Nigeria, we have to be doing about biometrics. We know that you are doing about biometrics, that with scanning of the eyeball or the using of your fingertip. That with the biometric, we know the entire population of Nigeria. No alternative. That okay, the machine is not working. They use this. Either the machine is not working. Whatever the vote we have, that is what we have. Fellow Nigerian, I'm passionate about Nigeria, and I will tell you, Nigeria is fixable. It's when you join me. It's when we join our hands together. Be you are in the north, in the south, in the east, in the west, in anywhere in Nigeria, understanding that what I'm saying is not about tribe, but it's about our existence. If not, Nigeria will go to commotion. And I always say that if you are not careful, we'll go to the second slavery. In fact, we are under second slavery, but the next one will be worse. We have every power, every ability to make our children to live in a better country. We have the power, we have the ability to make our people to be together as one without fear. We have the right, we have the power to make our people to exist together as one country. It is the few people that are at the top that understand that this Nigeria system of Nigeria is a framework that can never work, and they're using it to siphon money, to sit us tight and to destroy us. In the name of one religion, in the name of two, stupidity of the upper class. Then you have the power to say no. You can say no in any form. If anybody want to take your land, you stand up against them. I pray and I hope one day we'll have a free country, because the freedom that we had in 1960 was never a freedom. It was a partial independence, because we were given, we were handed over to some other people to govern us and to destroy us. God bless Nigeria. In coming election, vote right. Don't vote for people that is going to destroy us more. We need people that have energy, that have zeal, that have passion to change Nigeria. It's not people that by their money, by their population, by their money, by their wealth, by their connection. No. It is by the passion to change the country, to drive us to a coast where we can be more productive. No job in Nigeria. Job can be created in Nigeria within 2 years. We will empower the state, empower the local government. They can be able to attract investors. They can build factory, they can build industry because of the high resources on the ground that can be tapped. and job will be created. They will power their own industry with their own energy without depending on the federal on the national grid. Job can come to Nigeria, and people will have job to do. Will put food on the table. They will have reason for their existence. They will not be able to be bribed. They will not be able to be corrupted with the if we call it politicians. But you have the power to decide that. I'm begging you, go and do the right thing. Challenge the status quo from your home community up to the federal government. We have to fix Nigeria. Thank you. Again, my name is Kennedy Alade.